No wonder you were crying. Jeez Louise. That is a sad song.
Yeah, it's an intense second song.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Way to bring the mood down, Jobi. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
John's too funny.
Yeah, John's too funny. Jobi Riccio, welcome to eTown.
Thank you.
So glad you could be here. It's been fun getting to see your... Yeah. It's been fun getting to see, get to know you a little bit over the last few years and just cross paths with you as your star rises and you have all these things that come into focus. It's just really cool. You're super talented. And I mentioned before that you grew up in Morrison, and I didn't mean to diss your hometown by saying that it wasn't particularly like a musical mecca.
Well, it's not.
Yeah. It's pretty small.
Yeah.
But you started writing pretty early on, right? As a teenager?
Yeah. I started writing around age 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just poetry, or did you know it was going to be songs?
Always songs. I wrote poems, but they were bad and embarrassing, and mostly in school. And I was like, this isn't the one. But I always loved to sing and felt pretty confident and comfortable singing. And I just loved songwriters too.
Yeah, like who? Who were your favorites?
Joni Mitchell, Bruce Springsteen, John Prine. My parents really raised me on a wonderful, delicious, nutritious, organic musical diet. And those are really the early influences that I feel like I set my sights on.
Those are the 4 major food groups right there. Yeah. You
literally.
Yeah.
I wish.
You did okay. One of your songs, one called Sweet, talks about, boys being dead ends and girls just not batting for your team. That dichotomy and dilemma was something you were clearly aware of as a young person, right?
Totally. I wrote that song a few years ago before I cut all my hair off and started wearing spiky earrings and openly identifying as queer. And I think it's pretty obvious now. And so that comes from a time when I was feeling like a little invisible in my queerness. And I feel quite visible in it, and I'm chilling. Like,
Well, it's funny because we crossed paths in Nashville at about 1 a.m. or something at a place that you had just played. But it was really great to see you as part of your community, people who were young, talented singer-songwriters, musicians, producers, engineers, people hanging out, and it didn't seem as if there were any limitations. There was no everybody was just welcome. Your talent was your entree to that community that seemed really supportive and different from what you had here. Am I describing it correctly, or are you just nodding politely?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of migration that happens to Nashville. It's kind of like the center of the spoke of a wheel that is music and touring music specifically. So there was a lot of people I knew in Nashville before I moved there. So I feel like I kind of did a little cheat. Whereas, I grew up here and had to really seek out musical community for myself in a way, whereas I just kind of rolled up to Nashville already knowing a lot of people and having done this for several years. So it was a bit more comfortable, but there's something so good about going out and finding your people. Mm-hmm. And I do think I've still had to do that in Nashville, because there's plenty of people out there, we call it getting Nashvilled, who they talk to you, but they're just looking at whoever else is in the room. They're like, that's Fiona Prine, that's John Prine's wife. They don't care, they just that is a thing that happens there, but you find your people irregardless.
Yeah. I noticed that both you and John Craigie are going to be playing at Newport Folk Festival. That's exciting. That's a big iconic gig for you this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that mean? Did you pay attention to all that stuff and recordings and live from Newport and that kind of stuff? Was that something that's meaningful for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think being a Joni fan too, and also loving Dylan and just being aware of like the folk movement in that era. I minored in American roots music too, so I'm a music history nerd. And like, I feel like just the historical, I think Newport is one of the very first festivals, folk festivals that there were, like maybe the first one in the country. And I got to play last year, and it was so incredible. I had my jaw on the floor like the entire time. So I think I'll be maybe a little bit chiller this year, but I'm not really that chill. So, but I'm beyond honored, really, to get to go back and bring my band and play a set again.
Yeah. Did you go when you were living in Boston? Did you ever go?
No, I can't afford the tickets.
Yeah.
And they always sell out.
Right.
Still can't.
Yeah.
Couldn't then, can't now.
Yeah. Are you living in your Astro van?
No.
No, okay, good. Just checking.
School bus.
Yeah, school bus, okay. It is funny, you know, and as John was talking about celebrity and fame and being recognized, and the slow arc of gaining confidence and building repertoire and writing more songs and recording and sharing that music in whatever way you can and building a following and working online and working all your social media stuff and getting people to buy tickets when you go to different towns and slowly working up to larger venues, it takes some time. And then there's, you know, somebody who gets their tongue stuck on an ice tray on YouTube and has 100 million followers or something like that. Yeah. It just seems so insane as to what celebrity is now in this crazy social media world. I don't know if that's relevant or meaningful or interesting, but...
Yeah, I'm definitely kind of intimidated by that, and I feel like there is something to be said for perhaps longevity and doing it sort of the old school long way. I don't know, I really love that Chick song, Taking the Long Way Round, and maybe I've sort of, hey, let's go. There's a small smattering of applause for that song.
Yeah.
And maybe I've really taken that to heart, but my dream was to always go out and perform for real life human people. And, you know, though I like to think of myself as funny online and whatnot, and it's all just a means to an end for me. Like, I want you to be here standing or sitting in front of me, and I want to share space and time with people.
Yeah. It's both noble and practical because literally that's the only way you can possibly make a living anymore because no one pays for music. So you might as well go out and play gigs, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's beautiful. I'm really happy to get to know you a little more and share some music with you. Let's do some more.
Yeah.
Want to play some music?
I do.
Okay. Welcome back, if you would, Jobi Riccio.